So hi, everybody. Today we're going to be covering the basics of Blackboard, how to use this platform for mainly for instructors and students. So we're going to get started with, today we're going to be covering the basics. So there's a lot of different things that we can cover in Blackboard, but we're going to focus mainly on the basics today. So I'm going to get started with the student roster. So if you're starting a semester and you select one of your courses and you want to see who your students are, the way that you would go about that would be in the following way. So let's say you just logged in to Blackboard, right? You log in, you see this main page, you're going to click on courses on the left-hand side. And then you would go ahead and select your course, which I'm going to be selecting Blackboard for Faculty for this tutorial. And if anybody at any given time can't hear me, please let me know. Okay. So then you would go ahead and scroll down and you would select users and groups. Go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Go here to users and groups, and then you would select users. And then at this point, you would see the list of all your students. So most of the time, it would include an email, and it would include their C numbers on the left-hand side. So this is useful because it allows you to see who's joining your class and how to contact them. So this is how you view your student roster on Blackboard. Now you can also view this on Canelink. So that's another way to do it, but this is how you would do it in Blackboard. Now, the next thing we're going to be covering is how to navigate through Blackboard. So I'm going to teach you the basics. So one of the main things about Blackboard, especially if you're an instructor, is you have something called course management. So some instructors think that students can see this. Students cannot see the course management. This is only for instructors, administrators, or teacher assistants. So students cannot see this last part here. So what does this do? So the course management allows you to see the grade book, which is over here. It allows you to see the course tools. And we, of course, have a lot of different tools here: Respondents Lockdown, the Safe Assign, exams and stuff like that. So there's all of these different things that course management allows us to do. Today, we're going to be focusing mainly on the Grade Center. And then we can we can probably expand on that another time. And the reason that that's important is because oftentimes when you're using Blackboard, you need to kind of scroll down a little bit so that you can get to what it is that you want to use, whether that's Respondus or exams or the Grade Center. Okay. The next thing that you want to learn when you're using Blackboard is the arrow functioning. So Blackboard uses, let me use one of these annotations. It uses a lot of these different arrows that you see. They're gonna be everywhere. Hold on. 1 second. So it uses a lot of these different arrows. So if we go to assignments and then you click on an outline, you can see that there's all these different chevrons or arrows next to it, which allows you to edit and do different functions that you need to do. So when you click on an arrow, it opens up all of these different things. So Blackboard, it functions that's the way that it's designed. And so it's going to do the same functionalities over and over again throughout. So that's why I'm covering these very So the next thing we're going to cover is how to make a course available. So if you want to make a course available, you're going to go to the beginning of Blackboard, and you're going to be going over to the right-hand side to the 3 dots that are here, and you're going to make a course. If it's private, then you're going to make it unavailable. So I had to make it private so then make it available. So now I would click on open course. And it would say, you know, it would ask me, are you sure you want to do this? And I'm going to say yes. And then vice versa. So that's how you can do it. And then another way to do it is if you're in the course and you go to the top right hand side, there's a lock that allows you to make it unavailable and then to make it available. And this is a good function to have if you're designing an exam and maybe you're not ready to allow the students to see it because you're not done yet. Or if you, for whatever reason, you just want to close the course, you can do that. And then go back to this course. Okay, so the next thing we're going to cover is how to add documents. So let's say we wanted to add a syllabus at the beginning of the semester. We would click on build content. So as you can see, this opens up all of these different things, right? But we're going to focus on item. So I would put like document. And then you can add extra descriptions here if you'd like to. And then I'm going to browse local files, select the syllabus that I would like to add. And then I can leave these settings by default here. I don't have to like change all of these different things, but if you want to, you can change them, but I'm just going to leave them as they are. And then I'm going to click submit. And then that would create a different document, which would then allow the students to download the syllabus. So is that clear for everybody so far? Is that making sense?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that because I like to keep my courses organized. So how to add an announcement. Next up is how to create an announcement for how to create an announcement so you can send one to your students. So like you're going to click on the top left-hand side announcements, and then you're going to click create announcement. Then we would title it. So let's say that I wanted to remind the students of something. So I'm going to put here reminder, March 26th. And then I would add a message here. And then we can choose if we want to send this as an email immediately, which is usually what instructors do, and then submit, which would send the email to all the different students. Okay, so then that would look something like.
What's the difference between an announcement and an email?
So that's a good question. The difference is that if you send an email, it's not going to be listed here on Blackboard. So when the students come into Blackboard, they can see all of your announcements and there's like a history. But if you just send an email, there's no like documentation that you sent anything. And then you can also create an announcement and not send an email. So it will be here and maybe not arrive to their inboxes. Okay, so next up is creating a course document and adding images to a course. So if I want to create a document into Blackboard, it's going to be similar to what we covered before. I'm going to go ahead and click on build content, and then I'm going to also select item, and I'm going to go through the same process. Now, if I want to add images to excuse me, if I want to add images to Blackboard, I'm going to show you an example of what I mean. Is like, if I wanted to do something like this, where I have like folders, and then I have images that kind of like go along with it. I'm going to go ahead and show you how we would do this. So let's say we went to assignments, and then we had here build content, and I created an item. So we would put here like assignment number 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and make this like blue. So in order to add an attachment you have to make sure that you click on these three little circles at the end of this toolbox because sometimes they're hidden. Once all of these things open up, you can click on the very last icon. Now, if you ask me, they should have put this at the top, but anyway. So then you would click Insert Local Files. And then you would select an image that you want to add or a document or anything like that. So let me go to desktop, Blackboard Training. And so then I would go ahead and resize it. So I'm going to make it smaller. Scroll down, permit users to view this course, to view this content, yes. And then submit. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you guys how to do is like how to rearrange. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this up. What I'm doing is I'm left clicking and then I'm dropping wherever I want it to be. So using the mouse, I'm left clicking, or if you're using a laptop, you can just like on a trackpad, you can just click. And then I'm dragging. And this is how you can like rearrange different things to make sure that it's in the order that you want it to be. Another way to do this is by going to the top right-hand side. Can everybody see that there's like two arrows, one going up and down? You see that? And then I can click to select and it highlights it blue. And then I can select the arrows to bring it up or bring it down. So this allows you to keep your course organized either in a chronological manner, or if you want to maybe make the most recent things at the top and things like this. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into the grade center. So I'm going to go to the grade book now. And the way that I did that, I know that most of you know how to do this already, so I didn't go over it, but just in case, I scrolled down and I went over here to Grade Center and I clicked on Full Grade Center. Okay, so this is the Full Grade Center. So we're going to be covering how to do different things around here. So if we want to create a column, we would click this here. For the most part, I recommend that when you're creating columns, you just create an assignment. An assignment will just create a column automatically. And then that way, when you grade an assignment, it automatically populates it in the grade book instead of you having to manually input the grade. So something that I want to show you is how to click on column organization. So if you click on manage here and then you go to column organization, it's going to, and then you scroll down. It's going to allow you to organize your columns. So if you want your weighted total at the top, or if you want your attendance further up, like let's say, for example, I have 2 attendance columns and I'm only interested in having 1 or 1 weighted total. I'm gonna delete these 2 because I only want 1 of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete them like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and submit. And that's one way that you can keep your grade book organized and clutter-free. And so the gradebook is going to show you your students on the left-hand side, and then it's going to show you the assignments or the different things at the top, and then you can just drag to see everything over to the right-hand side. If you want to hide something from the students, you can click the arrow next to research paper here, and you can click hide from students. So it's going to be hide from students on or off. I'm going to go ahead and click on it again. And as you can see, this little thing here, the circle with the red line across from it disappears. So if that little symbol is on, that means that it's hidden from students, that they cannot see it. And does anybody have any specific questions about the grade book?
Yes, I wanted to find out about the percentages. So on the syllabus, each item is weighed differently. I forgot how to input that. So for
how,
example, like the tests are 40%, assignments are 10%, attendance is 10%. There was like a way to enter those figures.
yes, good question. So that's the weighted total column. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on the arrow next to that, and I'm clicking on edit column information. And then what she just mentioned is like if I want to add different percentages to different assignments. So let's say, so I'm going to go over that again, just to make sure I didn't go too fast. Clicked on the arrow next to weighted total, edit column information. Then I'm scrolling down. And then what we're going to be doing is like, let's say exams are going to be worth through 30%. And then let's say that homework is worth 20%. And at the bottom, it'll tell me here like 50%. And then I want to make maybe like the final exam. I already have here exam and homework. So let's say I'm gonna make essays 20%, extra credit 10%, and final exam 20%. So as I can see here, I already have a total of 100. Now I'm using categories. So we would have to make sure that all of the homework assignments are in the category for homework, all the essays are for essays, and all the exams are for exams. So this is how I would go ahead and go about that. And you can edit this as you go and make sure that for calculators running total, it says yes. So I'm going to go ahead and click submit. And it would then, I don't have any real students here, but it would calculate a weighted total based on the values that I had inputted into the grade book. And what I was referring to as categories before is if I click on manage and then I click on categories, it allows me to associate a category to the different assignments that are in the course. So if you have like, let's say you have exam 1, exam 2, exam 3, and you want them all to be in the same category for exams, then you would go ahead and do that by going here. You can click on it here, or you can also, I think an easier way to do it is actually if you go to manage, column organization, and then you select them here. You can change the category here to whatever it is you want it to be, homework, and then you click submit. And if at any given point you have any questions about this, you can just give us a call or email us, and then we can go into your course and actually take a look at it and edit it with you. So did that answer your question, Erica?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so next up, we're gonna do attendance. So how to take attendance in a course. So we have two different tools for attendance. We have Quickly and we have the Blackboard tool. Today I'm going to be covering the Quickly attendance. So if you want to add attendance to your course, you can click on the top over here where there's like an arrow, and you're going to be clicking on tool link. You're going to put here attendance, and then selecting Quickly attendance. If you need us to also do this for you, you can just call us and we'll set this up for you. Available to users, submit, and then I'm going to go ahead and drag this up. So that's how I got that into here. And then you would click on it and it would ask you to set it up. So to set up Quickly attendance, basically you would select like the different settings that you want. So it's going to ask you if you want to sort them out by last name or first name and all the different preferences that are here. So the way that this works, is anybody here familiar with Quickly? So I just want to make sure, like,
Yes.
yes. So, sometimes the way that it works is like, there's like a time frame that students can input a pin, and then like, so if you're in class and maybe like the last 15 minutes of class, you input the pin, you let the students know like, hey, I'm gonna take attendance now, I'm gonna put up the pin. It'll come up on the screen, and then the students will go into their Blackboard, either on their laptop, on their phone, and then they'll input the pin to let the system know that they were present in class. And sometimes instructors will ask me, they'll say, well, can they just text message someone else and just say, hey, this is the pin? They can do that, but if you have only 5 minutes to do that, to input the pin, or 10 minutes, it's not likely that they're gonna have enough time to do it. So in case anybody was wondering. But yeah, so this is one of the ways that you can set up your Quickly attendance. And then an example of that is, let me go ahead and try to show you guys an example.
Huh.
Check in. So starting student check-in will allow you that. Start check-in. So this is kind of what it looks like. The code is 7895. And then they have 15 minutes to do it. So then I can click on and check in. And it's completed. And then if I want to go to records on the left-hand side, it would show me a list of the students here, and given the dates of like when they were present and when they were absent or excused. So I'm working on trying to get students into my courses, because the problem is like, if I don't have anybody here, then you guys can't really see, but we're working on it because it's kind of a privacy issue. Yeah, so yeah. How's everybody doing so far? Are we good?
Okay.
So,
We're right, okay. Okay, attendance is covered.
I had a quick question under the needs grading column, if you have a moment.
Yeah.
So under needs grading, sometimes there's assignments that the students turn in. Maybe they turn them in person, or they're like, don't worry about what I sent in on Blackboard, I'm gonna hand something else in. And they kind of linger on here. Is there a way to delete some of the ones that I know I've received separately or via email or in another?
That's a good point. When you try to delete them, what does Blackboard say? Does it let you delete them?
No, I don't know how, I haven't figured out how to delete.
So if you have too many things here going on, and maybe a student submitted like 3 papers, then, and you want to kind of organize it, or you just want to like delete the ones that aren't necessary, you can definitely do it. I wouldn't recommend doing it from needs grading. Needs grading is where they're going to come out. I would take a note to make sure like which student and what the assignment is called, because sometimes the same assignments are named the same way. So just to make sure you delete the right one. And then I would go into the full grade center. I would go into the student, like I would look at the students, and then I would look at the assignment, and then I would look at their attempts. So I would click on view attempts, and then it's going to show me attempt number 1, attempt number 2, attempt number 3. And that's where you can actually go and delete it. And then that way it's just not like it's not there.
I got you. Okay, so it's better that way.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into exams. So if we wanted to create an exam in Blackboard, we're going to go ahead and go into this area here called assessment. So before we cover to build content, it has all these different things. Now we're going to go into assessment. So here we have 2 very important things, which are assignment and test. So we're going to focus right now on test, but I did want to mention that this is where you would go ahead and create an assignment, and we want to select assignment versus like items, because when you create an assignment, it'll create a column in the grade center. So that way it makes it easier when you're grading. All right, so assessments, and then I'm going to click test. So then I'm going to click on quiz number 1 here. Actually, let me create a new exam. Great. sample exam. Submit. Okay, so once you create, it's going to show you here, create question, reuse questions, and upload questions. For create questions, it's going to give you all these different options here. The most common being the famous multiple choice and true and false. So I'm going to go ahead and click on multiple choice. And then click here. We would go ahead and create a question. So do you prefer to use Blackboard or Canvas? Learning platform system. And then the correct answer is going to be Blackboard. It's unbiased. And then it's going to be Canvas here. Both or neither. Actually, I'm going to put both. Okay, and then you would click submit or submit and create another. And then as you can see, it'll show me the question at the top and the different answers. So this is how we would go ahead and create a question in Blackboard for an exam. And then if you were using, let's say if you were using questions from something like McGraw-Hill or Pearson VUE, you could upload or like roll over questions from a textbook by going through that process of like integrating your course with them. But then secondly, you would click here and reuse questions, and then you could click find questions and it would upload those questions for you. And then upload questions. This I'm actually not too familiar with, so I'm not going to go over that.
Priscilla,
Yeah.
if you're doing multiple choice where it's either right or wrong, it's binary, that's easy. But what happens when you have essay questions? So you have to read it yourself so that you know that, you give them partial credit or full credit for the question. Let's say you have 10 questions, each one's worth 10 points for 100%. So there's going to be a lot of, that'll be 5 or 7 or 8. How do you go about doing that?
Okay, so with essay questions, right, like you just mentioned, it's not going to automatically grade it. So you have to review it. So the way that you would do that is you would go over here to the grade center and you would click on needs grading, like Erica mentioned before, and the essay questions, the exams are going to come out here and you're actually going to be selecting them. So all the multiple choice questions are going to be graded, and then the essay questions are going to be there for you to grade. And it'll be like, if an essay question's worth 3 points, then you would give them, whatever you think, 1 out of 3 or 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3.
Right.
And you would go through that.
Okay, so you just do it manually, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
so you're welcome. You're very welcome. So we've covered mainly everything that I had here for today. Now I'm going to welcome anybody's questions, anybody who has any specific questions about Blackboard, or if there's anything anybody would want to go over. I'll go.
Priscilla, can you show them, it's similar, but can you show them creating an assignment on Blackboard? And here's why I want to recommend this. You guys use it. There's a lot of reasons why. If you create your assignment on Blackboard, the students can actually turn in the assignment on Blackboard, and it will, can we show them how you set it up so it has a deadline? And you can give them multiple attempts. So in case they file it early, they want to do some fixies to it. And that way it doesn't get lost. There's no question whether they turned it in or not. And it also appears right on the Blackboard in the grade book. So it makes it for easy grading.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I'll go over that right now. So To create an assignment, we're gonna click on assessments and then we're gonna click on assignment. I'm gonna go ahead and give that a name. Number 1. And then you can attach like a PDF file or a document if it guides them on how to do this. We're gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna go ahead and do that now, but you could do that here if you wanted to. And then we're gonna go ahead and set up a due date. So let's say this was due on April 1st. I'm gonna go ahead and select that, and then I'm gonna make it that it's due at end of the day. For points possible, this is the scoring that it's gonna give you for the grade center. I'm gonna do 100 points. You can add a rubric, and you can do that by clicking here, create new rubric, and then do that. I'm gonna click on submission details, and like Heidi said, if it's most often students will submit like they don't do it all the time, but sometimes they'll submit a document that they didn't mean to. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on multiple attempts. I'm gonna put 2 or 3.
I usually
And
just do unlimited
you
myself,
do
'cause that way I do unlimited, because otherwise, if a student files something and wants to fix it, I have to go in and kill it, and it's just a hassle. This way they can file it as many times as they need to before it's due. It doesn't make
Okay.
any difference. It's easier.
So unlimited, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put safe assign. So safe assign is like the plagiarism tool. It identifies whether or not the student has plagiarized. So I'm gonna go ahead and select that. And I like to allow students to view their own safe assign originality report so they can see whether or not they plagiarized by mistake. And then
Priscilla?
Yeah.
If the assignment is the final paper and the final paper is, say, 1,000 words, is that still okay?
if the final essay is worth is what, 1,000 points?
No, 1,000 words. So in other words, you know, if I want them to write a final paper, is that what we're talking about here? Is just write your final paper. It's got to be 1,000 words and do it on Blackboard.
Yeah, you can do it this way. You can absolutely do it this way. So
Okay.
if this was like a final essay
Yeah.
and you let the students know that this was going to be, you know, those were going to be the requirements, yeah, you can absolutely do it like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's basically the same thing. All right.
Yeah, and then I would make the assignment available and submit.
All right.
How the new orders. First method of montage is the
Hi, Steph, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, I just had a question. So if you set up an assignment on there, I know that it's automatically in the grade book on there for you to grade what they submit. But if they turn it in physically, is there a way to manually just input a grade even if the assignment isn't uploaded from their end?
Yes. So if the students physically bring you their essays, then you would create a column here. And you would put here like essay number, 4. Primary display, you can select here. I'm going to do percentage. When it's possible, 100. And then click submit. So if that's the case, you would just go ahead and, look at your papers, whatever grade you gave them, and then you would just input them here. So.
Okay.
And then would you have to delete, because doesn't like if you make the assignment on Blackboard, doesn't it automatically make a column?
It does. So if you're doing that, then you wouldn't create the assignment, and then you could just delete it.
Okay.
Or you can like hide it, whatever you want to do. But I wouldn't create a column I wouldn't create an assignment if they gave it to me in writing. I would only do that if I wanted them to submit it online.
Do any of you do anything where, say you have 5 quizzes, but you drop the lowest grade, or you have 5 written assignments, but you drop the lowest grade?
Do you want me to go over that, the lowest grade?
Well, only if anybody needs that. Does that, is that something anybody needs?
That would be helpful for me.
Me too.
Okay. All right, so how to drop the lowest grade. All right, so I'm going to go over to weighted total, and I'm going to click on edit column information. I'm going to scroll down, and you remember when we were going over this part here, exam homework? So right below, it's actually going to say something like drop grades, and then it'll say like drop blank highest grades or drop lowest grades. So let's say that I wanted to go to the homework, and I'm going to drop one of the lowest grades. I would put in there number 1, and then I would click submit, and then it would automatically do that for me if I had inputted that information. So of course you had to, you have had to like inputted all the homework grades first. Okay, so I'm gonna just go over it again. I clicked on edit column information. I scrolled down after I had inputted all of this. Then I went to the category that I wanted to drop the lowest grade, which I selected homework. And then I went here to drop one lowest grade, or I could do 2. So I went ahead, I'm gonna do 2, and I'm gonna click submit. Right? All right, so I want to thank everybody for coming. You can still stick around for questions, but I think we're gonna close the recording. So Anthony, whenever you're ready, I think we can stop